Adulting, an 8-letter word, but a very huge concept. That's hot. Hi, my name is DeAndre Brown, also known as the corporate baddie. Recently, I quit my job to become a full-time entrepreneur / content creator. And I became known on social media for my videos discussing Generation Z in the workforce. In a comical way, of course. As someone who recently graduated college, I understand how difficult it can be to transition from college life to the professional world, if you will. Okay, drum roll please. We will be talking about adulting today, I'm sure as you saw by the title, and how to navigate life as an adult. Financially, this is mentally, and this is personally as well. So, let's get into it. Woo! So DeAndre, what does adulting mean to you? Adulting is taking full control of your life responsibilities and having to be your own self-motivation for day-to-day tasks. You know, I know this seems like an overwhelming concept. I mean, at least it was for me, because when I was in college, I don't know about y'all, but I procrastinated down. Like, I procrastinated with everything. I literally would finish assignments probably 5 minutes before they were due. However, when I got into the professional world, I realized how much this was a problem and how I was stopping myself from achieving ultimate success because I would do and complete things at the last second, which therefore didn't allow other time to do other things. So don't procrastinate at all. However, a healthy habit that I did adapt was being organized. It really helped me on a personal, remember that word, personal? It helped me on a personal level. So now I can sit here and say, procrastination, who's she? Never heard of her. But in all seriousness, being unorganized will literally keep you stressed, unproductive, and accomplish day-to-day tasks. So it's so important that you get organized because also, it's an elite mindset to have. Well, DeAndre, how am I gonna become organized? Well, I'll teach you just that. In order to be organized, I think it's best that you create a daily / weekly schedule and literally schedule out your day from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, okay? And you better not go to bed until everything on that list is complete. I'm watching you. DeAndre, nobody has time to look at a schedule all day. That's a poor excuse. If you don't have time to look at a schedule all day, well then guess what you do? You set an alarm at the top of every single hour that you have something to do. So then eventually in your head, you'll know, oh my gosh, right now I'm supposed to be feeding the dog. Oh my gosh, right now I'm supposed to be in this meeting. That's how you do that. And lastly, I recommend you examine when and where you feel most productive. For me, I feel most productive Monday through Friday. So I always make sure Monday through Friday, I'm working. And on weekends, I take that for myself. And also, I realize where I feel most productive is spaces away from home, which is why usually I complete my work in a coffee shop or a park or a common work area, because that's where I feel most productive. Well, DeAndre, didn't you say how you wanted us to be okay mentally? How are we gonna do that if we're always working? Well, I'll tell you how to do that. Although I really want you all to work hard, I also want you to take time for yourself because your mental is also very important. I realized recently that I was burning myself out and constantly working, and I wasn't really taking that time to, make time for me. And because of that, I realized that I was losing my creativity, which is really important for what I do for work. And I think that that's important for all of us, to constantly have creative ideas in all that we do, and also to be able to critically think. And if you're constantly working and not taking time for yourself, you'll begin to lose that. And I don't want you all to lose that because that is what sets you apart and what makes you special. Okay, DeAndre, how do you expect me to work hard, not procrastinate, and now I have to put in time for myself? Look, it's not that hard as it seems. Just literally cut out a day or just time in general for yourself. For example, me personally, every Tuesday, I do date night Tuesdays, which is when I take myself out to dinner, I sit at a dinner table alone, and I sit with my thoughts. And I sit and think about things that I usually wouldn't have time to think about because there's so much other stuff going on my day-to-day. Also, I go to the gym every day to wake my body up and also to get my mind off of things and get my mind in a good state before I start work. When I'm leaving the gym and on my way home, I like to listen to motivational podcasts. This really keeps me in a good mindset and really prepares me for the long days that I usually have. And lastly, on weekends I'm unavailable. Do not talk to me on weekends. Absolutely not. If it's work related, I'm not answering. Simple, simple. You have to really make sure that you set these boundaries and take time for yourself as a young adult. Because when you're young and you're trying to get into the workforce or you're trying to succeed in whatever it is that you do, people are gonna walk all over you because they know that you're trying to take advantage of every opportunity. Don't allow them to. Like, honestly, these jobs love to act like we don't have personal lives. I have a personal life too, you know. I have friends too. It may not look like it, but I have friends. That actually brings me to my next point. Network, network, network. Actually, I don't think you all hear me correct. I'll be right back. Network, network, network. Simple, simple. It's so important as a young professional that you really network. Having a good network will not only help you in the long term, but it'll also help you on a day-to-day when it comes to growing your mindset. But it's also super important that you have good people in your network and not bad people. Because if you have good people, you're more inspired to continue to thrive for success, while if you have bad people in your network, they may dim your light. You are a light, you are bright, you are a gift to this earth, and you don't want anyone to dim it. So make sure you have a network full of good people. And even now more than ever, networking is so simple because we have social media. I personally think LinkedIn is the most top tier place to network for several reasons, but one of the biggest ones is I can literally search in the type of person that I want to network with. And people don't realize how important this is. Because a lot of times when you go to networking events and you network with people, it can seem very forced because you guys don't have similarities. However, having the opportunity to search the type of person you want to network with makes it so much simple because you already know that you're coming to each other from a place of similarity, which is super important. Another way that you can network, and if you're given an opportunity to do so, is to move to another city where you don't know anybody. And to talk about this with myself personally, I moved from Chicago to Illinois to Dallas, Texas, not knowing a single soul. I knew absolutely no one. And when I got here at first, I was really sad and I was depressed because I didn't know people. But eventually I got outside of my shell and outside of my comfort zone, and I went out and met some really phenomenal people. Being okay with getting outside of my comfort zone and technically being forced to network with other people really set me apart in a positive way. And it really separated me from my peers now. And now I can honestly say that my network of people really keep me motivated. It's so important that you have a good network. It's gonna really help you personally. Okay, DeAndre, this is all great and all, but what about our finances? Just because we're young professionals and we want to make sure our finances are good. Oh, let me grab my tea for this one. You know, honestly, I'll be honest, finances is something that I'm still learning how to master myself as a young professional. What I will say is that by hiring a team and having people that manage my finances, I learned a lot of stuff. And here's some of the tips that I learned that are super important when you're new to making a lot of money and you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up right as well. Tip 1, when it comes to having a place to stay, do not go buy the big luxurious apartment. Okay? You are new to making salary, so you want to make sure that you're doing it and introducing yourself to things little by little. So buy yourself a little apartment. It's just you, you're young. Also, you want to make sure that you're putting down money to pay your loans back if you took out loans throughout college. The quicker you pay those loans, the quicker you have freedom. Woo-hoo, freedom. Also, budgeting. Budgeting is super, super important, and there's a lot of resources online that you can utilize to help you budget correctly. And lastly, this is the one I even hate when people talk to me about, but it's actually really important, is your 401k. It's super important that if you are working a job that you are maxing out your 401k. You are really young, and it's super important that you save and put as much money away while you're young as possible so that when you start to introduce a family or other things in your life, you're okay and you can handle it. Also, a 401k is important, especially to me, because I want to retire a filthy rich person. I really hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I really hope that it helped you navigate adulting. Yes, it can be very daunting, but I'm really hoping that with this video, you really learn how to prepare yourself mentally, personally, and financially throughout this long process. You're really young and you have a very successful future ahead of you. But I also want to make sure throughout your success that you remember your mental, your personal, and your financial. It's really important. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and feel free to follow me on my social medias. I'm always here to help you all because I want everyone to be successful and the best version of themselves. Love you all. Bye.